believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Well, hello. Hello, everyone. So let me first start off by saying this is episode 23 of the Ramblings of an Insomniac, and I want to apologize. Honestly, this time, it really was not my fault. I didn't have internet for over a week, and then my cell phone service has not been working until just 2 days ago. But I have been working longer hours than usual. And anyways, so I didn't have internet for a week, so I could not do a podcast. And then when I would get home, I didn't have cell phone service until just like 2 days ago. So I have not been neglecting my podcast. I just want to get that out there. I said that I wouldn't. I said that I would follow through. And I tried. I really did. And I could not take my phone with me because I was in the middle of switching phones. And anyways, it turned into this whole ordeal. But now I have internet and I have a new phone. And so we are go. Anyways, this is episode 23 of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney Perry. Hello. So it's been a minute as usual. Apparently it really is like a random thing, I guess now. I'm keeping everybody really on their toes. But a lot has been going on. And I've had a lot on my mind, a lot keeping me up these days. Let me begin with, I think I've already mentioned this, but, my son and his girlfriend are expecting a son in July, at the end of July. And so we have been kind of preparing for that and getting ready for that. To say excited is an understatement. I am beyond excited. I cannot wait. And so we've been preparing for that. And I've just been thinking a lot about what being a grandma entails. And it kind of cracks me up because I've been watching, I was watching Young Sheldon, and the grandma on there that used to be on Designing Women, forgive me, I forgot her name, but at any rate, the grandma that plays on Young Sheldon cracks me up because I've been watching her and I'm like, I think she's kind of who I'm going to be as a grandma. She's kind of a straight shooter and she doesn't really pull any punches, and she keeps it pretty real. But at the same time, she's protective. She'll tell her grandkids, if they're wrong. But at the same time, she's protective. She's loving. She wants to help them, and she kind of gets in trouble with them a little bit and doesn't tell the parents and kind of has fun without telling the parents. And I'm like, when I'm a grandma, I don't want to be a grandma that, condones their grandchildren to be spoiled or disrespectful. I do not want spoiled, disrespectful grandchildren. And I certainly don't want to be someone that disrespects my son and his girlfriend's wishes as far as, whatever their rules are, I want to certainly follow through. And that said, though, the entire reason that you get to be a grandparent is so that you also can disobey some rules and get into trouble with them and, give them things they're not supposed to have and take them places you're not supposed to. So I was like, how do you find a balance of being a grandma that has grandkids that aren't spoiled and aren't disrespectful and aren't whiny and bratty and throw tantrums and all that stuff, but you also want to, kind of do some things like maybe stay up a little later than what your parents allow, or let you watch maybe a movie you're not supposed to, or let you eat a piece of candy. I don't mean get them all cracked out on sugar, because I just think that's not cool. The grandparents that give the parents noisy toys, or give their children back all hopped up on sugar, or don't discipline their grandkids, to me, I just think that's kind of crappy, because, well, number one, you don't want a grandchild that has cavities and is overweight and has diabetes when they're, older. And you don't want grandchildren that are spoiled and disrespectful. So I certainly don't know why, when people are like, oh, my grandchildren, I let them do everything that they're not supposed to. I get that you want to do some things, and I totally think it's a rite of passage as a grandparent to kind of get revenge on your children for being buttheads sometimes. But the saying when people are like, oh, I can't wait until your child does this, this, or that. And I'm like, but why would you want your grandchildren to behave the way that your children did when you thought they were being mischievous or getting into trouble or doing things that they weren't supposed to? I feel like when people are like, oh, I hope that your kids do the things that you did with me so that you'll know how it feels. And I'm like, but I don't want my grandkids to drink and drive, or I don't want my grandkids to get into trouble or party or make those mistakes. I don't wish that upon my son, and I don't wish that upon his girlfriend. I don't want them to go through the same things I did. Not that my kids were terrible, not that my sons were awful. I just mean I don't want my grandson to make those same mistakes. I'm sure he's going to make his own mistakes, of course. Not I'm sure, he will. He will make his own mistakes. But to wish that upon your children, to be like, I hope they do the things that you did so you'll know what it's like. I don't want that. I do not want my grandson to do the things that, that my sons have done. I want them to hopefully not do any of those things. But I'm a realist, and that's not how humans are. We all do stupid shit all the time. So it's going to happen. But I just don't get why people wish that on others. So I don't wish that on my son or his girlfriend. And I'm not going to spoil him so rotten that he's a brat or has cavities or has poor eating habits or is disrespectful and all of that. But we are most definitely going to stay up a little later than usual, or maybe watch some movies we're not supposed to, or maybe, go do some mischievous things. But it won't be anything that's going to have any lasting effects on my son or on my grandson. It'll just be good fun. So anyways, that was one thing that's been on my mind. Not very exciting. So you haven't listened to me in a couple of weeks, and I don't want you to tune in and be like, so I'm tuning in to listen to you babble about your grandson. But listen, I'm excited, and I want to share with the world that I am so excited. I don't even know what to do with myself. And he is due the end of July, so kind of around the corner. But we have been sort of preparing for that and getting ready for that. And then the other thing has been just thinking lately about the fact that, my mom passed away in April 12th. And I haven't really mentioned much about it because I just kind of grieve in my own way. But the one thing that I did want to discuss is that I still am currently trying to figure out how I can, in what way I can help the most with getting some things changed with our healthcare system with regards to the elderly and, assisted living facilities. And I was really upset when my mom passed away because I didn't get to see her, from October of 2020 when she moved to the assisted living facility all the way until April 12th of 2022. I got to see my mom for probably, 6 months out of that year and a half. And right before she passed away, I got to see her 3 days before she passed away. And I didn't get to actually say goodbye to her. Well, on the day she passed, she was in ICU and hooked up to a ventilating machine, and she saw me. She knew I was there, but she had tubes in her because she was on a ventilator, so I couldn't talk to her. And I could talk to her, but she couldn't talk to me. And the reason I haven't talked about this much is because when she looked at me, she looked scared and was looking to me to help, and she was trying to talk with that in her. And unfortunately, the only visions I have of my mom have been ones where she's miserable and scared and anxious. And the only times I got to talk to her really was when she was calling me, back when she could dial and use a phone and dial my number. And when she could, it was to be panicked and beg me to come and help her, and beg me to come and be with her so that she wasn't scared, so she wasn't anxious. And I had nurses and med techs calling me and CNAs calling me all the time, telling me that my mom's oxygen level was up because she was having such bad anxiety, and that all she wanted was to see me. And I'm like, then you guys need to let me see her. And I still didn't get to see her. I was kept away from her, and she had to die and be alone in her last stages of life. It was alone, all by herself, other than with strangers, the staff that worked at the nursing facility. And let's face it, they're not in there all the time. And my mom already had really bad anxiety before dementia. So when she started getting it, it got a lot worse. And anyway, I just had such a horrible experience with my mom being in assisted living, especially around COVID anyway. And it has really scarred me pretty deep. It's given me some pretty bad PTSD. And I don't know if PTSD is necessarily the right word. I don't want to say that incorrectly, but it's given me some pretty bad anxiety and guilt, and it's been really hard. I'm having a pretty difficult time because I just feel like I really let her down, and I wasn't there when she needed me. And even though I know that it wasn't my fault, that doesn't matter because she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that it wasn't my fault. And that's what I'm the most angry about, is I got time got ripped away from her and I and my sons. My sons didn't get to see her, and they're struggling. They're struggling a lot. And my mom just had to spend so much time on her own, just staring at a TV day in and day out in a darker room with no view. And then I finally got to move her to memory care, and she got a window to look out, and they did her hair, and she actually got to go out and do activities, but that was like 2 months before she passed. So, and I had to really fight for that, and we had to be on a wait list. And, you know, I just can tell you that if anybody has gone through this at all, it's not fun for anybody involved. It obviously isn't fun for the person that has dementia, and it certainly isn't fun for the family members. And I can't stress enough how much we need to really revamp how we treat the elderly. We need to revamp the social security and Medicaid system. We need to revamp retirement age. You know, they bumped up retirement age to 65. It used to be 55. And then people started living longer. So they were like, hey, let's do 65 because people are living longer. Now they're like, oh, crap, people aren't starting to live as long. Well, yeah, because you're making us work until we die. Everybody has to work pretty much, you know, until they die. And so now we're not living as long because we're exhausted and stressed, and we don't get a break and to relax. And let me tell you, I'm all for hard work. I'm not a fan of lazy. I dislike lazy a lot. I think it's okay to be lazy on your days off. It's okay to be lazy after work. It's okay to be lazy on your vacations. But I believe in work. I believe in whatever form of work it is. I believe in people working. And so I'm 48. I don't even know if Social Security will be around at my age, yet I'm being forced to pay into something. I'm getting money taken out of my check that I worked for is getting taken out to go into things like disability and to go into things like when I retire. Yet when I retire, I will get about, I don't know, who knows, $150 or something a month from Social Security. And, that's not going to be anything. Yet I've put in, my God, I've been working since I was 14 years old and I am 48. So I've put in so much and I'm not even going to receive freaking probably 10% of that or any. I don't even know if I'll get any. And it's infuriating because I have been working for it and it's mandatory. I'm being forced to get money taken out of my check that I will probably not even receive. And like I said, if I do, it'll be a small amount. So to me, that's stealing. Our government is stealing. And it's bullshit. And it also goes to people that are, quote, on disability. I say quote because disability, that term has gotten very loose nowadays, if you ask me, in my opinion. People's version of disabled and lazy are kind of similar nowadays. I don't think that you are disabled if you can sit down at a desk. I don't care if you can't stand up. If you can sit down, there are plenty of jobs you can do sitting down. If you can't sit down, there are plenty of jobs you can do standing up. If you have only one arm, there are a lot of things you can do with one arm as opposed to two. If you have one leg, there are a lot of jobs you can do with one leg as opposed to two. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are an amputee, I am not at all, especially a veteran. I am not at all saying that you are lazy if you're not working. I'm just saying there are people out there that use it for the wrong reasons. Now, if you need it and you are truly disabled, I say use it. Nothing against it. I have no problem with it. All I'm saying is that I want my Social Security that I'm being forced to pay to go to people that actually need it. Because if I'm not even going to get it, then I certainly hope it's been worth my time to be paying to everybody else for 34 years of my life. I have been working for 34 years hard when I am exhausted, when I am sad, when I am angry, when I am stressed. I still have to get up every day and go to work so that other people don't have to. So I certainly hope that those people that are taking up my Social Security actually need it. Because let's face it, I have a right to be angry, right? If that's not the case. Just like, again, I have been on welfare. 100% think that welfare is out there because it is to help you get a leg up, to help you get on your feet. But I don't think it should be someone's goal to live off of welfare, because what kind of goal is that? If your goal in life is to live off of other people's money while other people get up and struggle and are exhausted and have a lot of shit going on in their life, or people that have died and they still have to get up, no matter if they're sick, tired, sad, stressed, angry, people have passed in their life, they still have to get up and go to work because you just simply don't feel like it. Again, I've been on welfare. I am 100% for it. I just don't think people should live off of it for any long term. I think it's there to help, not there for you to live off of as a long-term plan. And again, I think people are capable. I say this because I truly believe that humans are capable people. And because I believe in you, I believe in humans, and because I believe people can do things, that's why I say I am not a fan of me having to work while others are using my money to do so, and then using that as a long-term plan. So anyway, that's one thing that's been on my mind, is trying to sorry, my son came out and My other son has the radio turned up, so I'm trying to finish my thought without people being around.
I'm trying to go.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I got distracted. My one son came out and was trying to talk to me, and my other son is listening to music. Anyways, I by no means am trying to make this into a political stance or piss anybody off or offend anybody, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm definitely not trying to be disrespectful or offend anybody. That said, that's the other thing that's kind of been weighing on me lately is this whole disrespect, offensive, hurt my feelings stuff. I was thinking about this the other day, and I know I've mentioned this on a couple of podcasts, but I was kind of saying the same thing to somebody, and they were like, well, I myself have been on welfare, and I don't understand why you would think that I'm a lazy person. And I said, I 100% don't think you're lazy because you were on welfare and now you are working. And again, if you are trying hard and you are doing everything you can, you're working and you're trying very hard to get a job. And I know there are so many circumstances in which you need help. And like I said, I am so for that. I think people should absolutely get the benefits that are out there. Whatever benefits there are out there that can help you get a leg up and help you until you get back on your feet, I say use them. That's what they're for. I'm just saying that I believe that people are capable people that don't need to have that as a long-term thing. And why would anybody be mad at me or think that's disrespectful to say that I feel that that humans are intelligent, capable people that can 100% find jobs or find something to do to make money that's, of course, safe and legal. I believe in people. So I don't think people should be upset with me because I'm saying I believe that you are capable and that you don't need to, how do I say this? That you don't need to rely on others for your entire life. Why is that a put down? I don't get that. And this whole being offended thing, I don't know when that became such a thing. Like, it blows my mind and it boggles my mind that people are like, oh, that offends me. Okay. I'm sorry. Except I'm not. Like, that sounds terrible, but I'm not sorry if I offend you. I don't want to be disrespectful at all. I try very hard to not be disrespectful. I try to not be rude. And I certainly don't want to bash anybody's beliefs ever. But to say that you're offended and then expect me to alter what I think or feel is asinine to me because you're not doing the same. What if I'm offended that you're offended? What if I'm offended that you don't believe the things I believe? Why am I the one that needs to change my feelings or belief? Why can't we just have a conversation and not try to change each other's opinion? Why are we always trying to change each other's opinion instead of trying to listen to what the other person is saying? Try to see things from their perspective. Again, I've said this so many times in so many podcasts, but it cracks me up how often this happens. And I'm just going to let you guys know you're going to like me or not like me, but I don't apologize for things that I'm not truly sorry about, or I will apologize if I hurt your feelings. I will apologize if you feel I was being disrespectful or shitty in any way, but I'm not going to apologize for my beliefs because they're my beliefs, and I'm not asking you to apologize for yours. I would never ask somebody to apologize for their beliefs or their feelings. I'm not going to apologize for someone being a certain political, to be associated with a certain political background or to be associated with a certain sexual preference. I'm not going to have you, I don't expect you to apologize for that, so I certainly am not going to. But I think we need to spend more time listening and trying to see things from each other's perspective and less time trying to talk each other out of our beliefs. Because that's really going to happen. I mean, beliefs are usually pretty deep-rooted. They usually stem from growing up in a family, and they come usually from years of in family members, especially when it's religion or political preference or whatever. But if not, it doesn't mean though you should try to talk somebody out of it. Maybe just ask them, hey, tell me a little bit about your religion. Tell me a little bit about, your political background. Tell me a little bit about whatever it is. But it should be more that we ask each other to learn more about one another. We should be trying to learn more, not spending time talking about ourselves and how great we are and why we are right and we are correct and you are wrong. It boggles my mind. So again, that said, I raised my kids to, I never used baby words with them. I never said blankie and baba and binky and wee. No, it was bottle, penis, blanket. Those are the words I used. And nowadays, and when they fell, again, unless of course it was genuinely bad, I would say, oops, get up, because I didn't want them to think it was this humongous deal, because I don't want my kids to think everything's a big deal. So I didn't make everything into a big deal. Just like when you're working with dogs. I work at a kennel and people drop off their dogs and they're like, oh, baby Pookie, I'm so sorry. You're okay. Oh, you're okay. Well, don't do that, because now they're like, oh my God, should I not be okay? Should I be scared? Should I be frightened? Should I be anxious that you're leaving? When you talk to them like things are sad and you talk to them like it's a big deal that you're leaving, then they think that they should be sad and they think it's a big deal that you're leaving. Now, I'm not saying you should just be like, not care that you're leaving your dog. I understand that if you're going on vacation or you're doing whatever and you have to board your dog, that you're going to miss your dog. It's okay to miss your dog. You should miss your dog. They're your family. You're going to miss them. It's okay for you to, leave. And once you leave, cry and be sad that your dog is away. But I don't think you should put that on your dog, because I know from working with dogs that it's not good to do. You need to, just like when you drop your kids off at daycare or at school when they're young, you don't go, oh my God, I'm so sorry you have to go to school. Oh. No, you're like, hey, go to school. You're going to have fun. You act like it's no big deal, because it's not. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to be boarded. And it's not a big deal to go to school. These are good, happy things. So we don't need to put our feelings and our emotions onto other things. It doesn't bode well for anybody. Just because you're sad or you're pissed off or you're don't believe in something doesn't mean you need to put that on others. That's your thing. That's your issue. That's your feelings. You don't have to make it mine. So when you're dropping your kids off, don't make it into a big deal. And more often than not, they're not going to, again, I worked with kids for a very, very long time. Kids, dogs, healthcare. So I know elderly, I know kids, I know teenagers, and I know dogs. And I'm telling you, you know what they all have in common? You need consistency. You need follow through. You need discipline. And you don't need to coddle. You really don't. Like, there's a way of loving your child without smothering them and holding their hand through everything, because now you're just raising children that are incapable of doing anything. And you're raising dogs that are going to cry and whine and have panic attacks anytime you're gone. And then you're going to wonder why your dog eats everything and why your dog shits and shakes and has all these problems. Well, because you act like everything's a big deal and you coddle them. So now they think everything's a big deal and they have to be coddled, just like kids. So we don't need to push our feelings onto others. We can just communicate and listen and hear each other out. And then if we still don't agree, okay. And I know I'm a broken record. I've said this 1,000 times, but it's just crazy to me how often it's still happening. So I just thought about that with being a grandma and how I'm going to continue to, again, if he falls or gets hurt, of course, I'm not going to be happy about it, or I'm not saying I'm not going to attend to him if he genuinely gets hurt. But if he falls, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, because half the time, if you look at a kid and they fall, they look to you. They look to you to see what they're supposed to be doing. If you're freaking out, all of a sudden they cry. And if you look, half the time they're not crying until they look at you and you freak out. Could you imagine a doctor in a hospital and you're freaking out, and then the doctor sees your wound and they're like, oh my God, son of a bitch, that's fucking huge. You have a gaping wound. Oh my God. And they start freaking out. Like, you don't want a doctor that's going to lose their shit every time an emergency happens, because then we're going to lose our shit. So people just need to cool their shit. We just all need to like calm down. Well, I hate saying calm down. It reminds me of on the show Bless This Mess with Dax Shepard, when they talk about the whole thing with calm down and how that phrase tends to really piss people off and do everything but calm someone down. It usually gets them real pissed. So I didn't mean to say that. I feel like we all just need to kind of take a breath and start looking around and being like, holy crap. We have a lot of good things going on here. And by here, I just mean the world in general is beautiful. There's not a lot of good shit going on. There's a lot of awful stuff, like in the Ukraine right now. My heart is just bleeding for people in the Ukraine and in North Korea and just different countries in general. So when we're here in America and we're looking around, and I see that we have so much beauty and so much freedom, and yet we're still unhappy. And that just breaks my heart, because I see good people every day, and I try really hard to pay it forward and try to be that good person, and try to keep a smile on my face. And if anybody is ever sad or upset, if I don't know them, they can be a perfect stranger. I've actually had perfect strangers come up to me and tell me things and tell me their stories, and I listen. And my sons used to say, why do you listen to random strangers, and why do you listen to them for so long and take so much time for people you don't even know? And it's because, what if I'm the one person that they needed that moment to listen to them? And they were like, I just want one person. Can one person please hear me? Can one person just please hear me? And what if I'm that one person and that's all they needed? I would hate to turn away somebody and have them feel like they have nobody. And I will just always take that time, because I know if I were struggling really bad and I just all of a sudden just had a breakdown, I don't know. I just try to listen. I try to see things from different perspectives. I try to listen, and I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, some people are just assholes because they're assholes, and they may have reasons, but they're just assholes. But if you look around the world, what's the Luke Bryan song? I believe most people are good. I believe that. I believe most people are good. Do we have some shitty people? Yeah, 100%. Do we have some really awful, horrible people? Definitely, for sure. But I think when you take all the people in the world, all the billions of people we have in the world, it's a small percentage that aren't great. So I feel like we need to do more pulling our head out of our butts, and we need to do more looking around and trying to help each other and not bring each other down, trying to understand each other. And if we can't, then we just need to move on and keep walking. Like, we don't need to spend time with people we don't get along with anyways. There are so many humans in the world. If you don't get along with someone, then move on. Just move on. It's that easy. It really is that easy. We don't need to try to convince other people that our gender, our religion, our political party is the best, because it's not. I hate to tell you, but the center of the universe is not you. You or I, and I mean this about me. When I say you, I'm including myself in the you. We are not the center of the universe. We all have our own thing going on. And so we don't need to try to convince others that we're the best, because we're not the best. And if you think that you are the best, well, you should probably, then that's great. Good for you. Good for you. But the center of the universe is not us, and we need to kind of chill out. Uh-oh. I think my phone, uh-oh. Hold on. I might have lost you. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so these are some things that have been on my mind. I'm going to sneak in, though. I'm going to kind of try to change things. I've been talking about a lot of depressing stuff and deep stuff lately. And So I'm going to try to sneak on. I have my sons here, and they had the day off today, and it's been kind of on and off, really nice. And then next minute it's pouring down rain. It's Oregon, so we can get like 5 seasons in one in Oregon. 5 seasons in one day, very easily. So anyways, they have been kind of hanging out and having some brotherly time listening to music. So here we are. I'm gonna have you sneak in on them. Recording. Oh, so I had my Chihuahua. I was trying to sneak up because my Chihuahua was actually singing to Carrie Underwood's "Undo It," and so I was trying to sneak up so you guys could hear it because it was I have a Chihuahua that used to be my mom's, and there's a song from the Fast and the Furious that is "It's Been a Long Day." I'll see you again. I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, every time that song comes on, he sings. And we've tried it with a million other songs, and he doesn't do it. But when that song comes on, he gets really into it and sings. And now apparently he also likes Carrie Underwood. So he likes Charlie Puth and Carrie Underwood, apparently. Oh, let's see. What is the Fast and Furious song he sings to? It's been a long day. What's it called? See You Again. That's what it is. Okay. Anyways, the song "See You Again" by Charlie Puth from Fast and Furious. We've tried putting on so many songs, but when we put that song on, my Chihuahua gets really into it, and you can see him kind of winding up, and he starts singing. And then I was trying to sneak up so you guys could hear him because he was doing it. Apparently, Carrie Underwood, "Undo It." That moves him. Anyway, I encourage everybody to just turn on some music and just let your freak flag fly. Just turn on some music, dance around your house, sing into a hairbrush. I don't care if you're a man or a woman or what you identify as. Just get into some shorts and a t-shirt, get into some socks, sing into a brush, or dance around your house. Grab your partner or your friend or your kids and just dance and turn up the music. And play a board game or just spend time together and just dance and sing. It's amazing the power of music. We all know, but I can be in the worst mood, and there's a song by Van Morrison called "Into the Mystic." And I don't know what it is about that song, but it like soothes the savage beast in me. Whenever I am upset or angry or sad or just grumpy, I turn on that song, and it just immediately makes me take a breath, calm down, and just relax and think about what I have and kind of recenter myself. And so I encourage you, oh God, my dog's going off in the back, but anyway, I encourage everybody to turn up that music and I guess don't go on a drive because gas prices are too much, but you don't have to drive. Ride your bike, go on a walk, listen to music in your house, but just turn it up and dance and let yourself go, Sometimes we all just need to dance. I saw a video of an elderly couple that was just, dancing like they were going to town. It was hilarious. I loved it. And I thought, that's going to be me. I'm going to be 90. And I'm going to be out there dancing. I don't care if it's with a walker. I don't care. But never underestimate the power of dancing and singing around your house. It's a good thing, Anyway, again, I'm sorry. It was not my fault. I had no internet, no cell phone service. It was like I was in the 80s again. It was actually kind of great. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of great. It was like I was in the 80s, back before cell phones, back before internet. We played a lot of board games. We listened to music. And, it was actually pretty lovely, other than I genuinely missed my podcast. And I wanted, I didn't want everybody to think I yet again ditched you. So I'm going to have Tyler and Caden join me on my next podcast. So they're going to be joining me on my next podcast, and I'm definitely going to have another one this week because to kind of make up for lost time. So there'll be another one this week. I don't know when. There may even be 2. I might be wild and crazy and do 3 this entire week. So I don't know. We shall see. But I just wanted to say to those that are listening and those that have been listening, and Allison, I love you very much and I miss you. Shout out to Allie and Lane and Paige. I miss you guys. And shout out to everybody that has been listening to me. I appreciate you all greatly and I wish you nothing but the best. And remember, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. It's like Bob Marley says, don't worry, everything's going to be all right. I didn't mean to say it like that. I said it with a really bad, not even Jamaican. That wasn't Jamaican. I don't know what that was. I didn't mean to say it that way. But anyway, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I have more things that I'm planning. I'm trying to get interviews together. I've been talking to some people and I'm trying to get some interviews together and still trying to get some things together with assisted living. And it's just things are kind of slow with everybody now. Everyone's kind of having a hard time getting back to me. I'm really having to track down people and kind of work at this whole getting people to talk to me about assisted living and all of that. But I'm working on it. And I hope to do a podcast soon about my findings and people that I've talked to and interviews, as well as have my sons on here and just do some more lighthearted things. So anyways, thank you guys. Have a great evening. And until next time, thanks for listening to the Ramblings of an Insomniac.